Nigeria's House of Representatives, through its spokesman, Honorable Akin Rotimi, has called on the Inspector General of Police, IG, to ensure the safe return of the 20 medical students of the University of Maiduguri and the University of Jos, who were kidnapped in Benue State while traveling to Enugu last Thursday. The students were traveling for the Federation of Catholic Medical and Dental Students annual convention in Enugu when they were abducted along with a house officer in Benue State along the Otukpo, Otukpa, Enugu Road on Thursday. Today marks day 4 since the abduction. The Benue State Governor, Hyacinth Alia, the National Association of University Students, and other prominent Nigerians have condemned the recent abduction.
Meanwhile, spokesperson for the State Command, SP Catherine Anene, said the command, in conjunction with other security agencies, had deployed officers to ensure that the abducted medical students were rescued. One of the students, Kingsley, managed to alert the public by posting a desperate message on his X account. Some of the messages include Kidnap Tweet 1 here, which you can see on your screens. We were kidnapped on our way to Enugu for a convention, Nigeria doctors. They are requesting for 50 million for 20 of us medical students. Please help us. And we haven't eaten for 2 days. The numbers put there, pious, that is who we are gathering the money with. It goes on with another tweet, if I'm not mistaken, that goes, they said they would start killing us tomorrow. A very sad and, well, alarming message there. Now, we have joining us this morning to talk at this incident, Senate President of the National Association of Nigerian Students, Mr. Akintaye Afiz, and Chidi Omeje, who is a security expert. Gentlemen, you're welcome. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
That's good. Now, Mr. Omeje, let's come to you first. Now, this is not the first time that a medical fraternity has dealt with cases of kidnappings. Dr. Gani Atpopola, that was our first instance here, a doctor who was kidnapped 7 months ago in Kaduna, is still in captivity. In this case, we have 20 students. So, question is, why are social workers currently the target of these nefarious acts? And do you have any idea, perhaps, maybe why this is now the trend? Mr. Omeje.
Well, I don't. Thank you. I don't think this is about medical student. Medical. It's about an emergency. No profession, no group of Nigerians are spared. This is the situation is gone to a level where the government ought to declare emergency on the kidnapping industry in Nigeria. So to me, it's not just because the medical students were kidnapped. Other people have been. Other people are. Everybody is a target. People can't travel anymore. People are not safe in any part of this country. So it's horrible, and I'm surprised that the government have allowed this thing to come to this level where it has become completely a full-blown industry. So to me, I don't think any group is targeted. Those kidnappers are just out there laying siege Nigerians. Anybody who set the sight on, they're kidnapped. So it tells you about a broken state. It tells you about a state where people are on their own devices. People are allowed to go on, and then of course whatever fit they see on the road they come back with. So to me, it goes beyond targeting social or medical workers. It is about entirety of Nigerians being targeted of kidnappers. So let's see it in that way. So that if you look at just medical targeting medical, that means you are constricting the problem. The problem is much more, is wider than just medical workers being targeted, and the entirety of Nigerians are targets. That's what I'm trying to say.
Right. There was a report by SBM Intelligence of the number, about 4,777 kidnaps between May 2023 and January 2024. So if we look at, and still following up with you, Mr. Omeje, so far, would you say that we're making any form of progress looking at the insecurity, the way that the current administration is combating insecurity in the country?
Look, as long as we have issues like this, as long as Nigerians don't feel safe anywhere, as long as you have this kind of industrial scale kidnapping, as long as you have broken down state assets to the point that it is not possible for you to travel between point A to point B without having to contend with issues like this, then no effort. I mean, you can't convince me that you're doing anything. I expected this government to have understood the critical issues about kidnapping, about other forms of criminality that overwhelm the state, and then make it a point of duty that this should be the first thing to handle with. Because security of life and property is actually, the primary essence of governance. And if you don't get it right, I don't know what else we're doing. If we cannot go to farms, we cannot travel to our places, then what else are we living for? So the whole thing is broken down. So as far as I'm concerned, you cannot lay claim of any effort when on daily basis, kidnappings got out the day, armed robbery, banditry, terrorism, what kind of thing is this? So I cannot beat my chest and say something concrete has been done when on daily basis we have this matter being reported. Even just yesterday, we had another kidnapping in Enugu State. So what's happening is incredible. Government should declare it a state of emergency. And at least on this, our what do you call them, National Assembly members who are only present in what is okay for themselves, I have not seen them come out to talk, devote their time to talk about these matters. This is terrible. The government is failing us. That's the point I'm trying to make. Yeah.
So, Ajay, you are correct indeed. Thank you. But Mr. Hafiz, let me come to you. First of all, I'm very alarmed about the trend that this might set and how exactly we handle this as a nation and how this would look to potential kidnappers. Maybe they might want to set a trend. We're hoping that that doesn't happen. But let's then look at the timeline put together by the Punch newspaper concerning the spate of kidnappings within Benue State. Now, in May, 2 female students of the Joseph Sirwan University of Agriculture, Makurdi, Benue State, were kidnapped by gunmen. In July, gunmen abducted 3 staff members, including the acting rector of Benue State Polytechnic, Bokolo, Dr. Emmanuel Baki, and demanded 70 million naira ransom. And then 10 people were reportedly kidnapped at the Taraba-Benue border community in Juta, in the Ukum local government area of Benue State in March. Now, aren't these kidnappings enough to declare a state of emergency like Mr. Omeje was asking? Mr. Hafiz, please, if you'd respond.
Definitely, they are enough to declare a state of emergency on kidnapping and security in Benue State. And it is so alarming that we have allowed it to get to this stage that about 20 students were kidnapped before we are now talking about this. State of emergency needs to be declared on the security situation in this country, especially on kidnapping, because it is so sad that some people will just sit down somewhere, go outside, kidnap people, hit them, and start asking for ransom.
David.
And people, most times, they pay the ransom before they release their victims. And that is David. What we are saying. Kidnapping has become a business with some people in this country.
Mr. Omeje, please, we have to mute your mic. Thank you.
And that is what we are saying. So I believe it is necessary, the government necessarily need to, especially in Benue State, and many other states in this country, government needs to be serious. Technology needs to be deployed. Securities need to be deployed. They need to be empowered to fight this kidnapping conflict squarely to a standstill. Because if it continues like this, even at this point, we are not safe. Everybody are not safe in this country. If the government are saying they are trying, we need to see it in their workings. We need to see results. So if people are asking for declared state of emergency or security or kidnapping in this country, it is not out of point. It is what needs to be done. More seriousness, more attention needs to be given to the issue of security and kidnapping in this country.
Now, Mr. Hafiz, regarding these instances that I've just mentioned from earlier, and then noting that this has not been attended to, how best do you think the Nigerian government can attend to these instances so that it doesn't look attractive to other kidnappers who might want to take a certain sector, like we have focused now on the health sector or health workers being kidnapped targets? We're speculating that that's the situation. How can they make it unattractive for kidnappers to go or target these specific sectors? What must they do? How must they handle this specific instance or these specific instances?
The government needs to be serious about fighting the kidnapping issue first. And secondly, those arrested, you will see people arrested, they have been arrested, they will be standing trial for this. There needs to be a capital law for kidnapping. And when people are arrested, you speed up the trial and let people see that, yes, this kidnapper was arrested and he was punished by the capital law of this country. When people are seeing that people are getting punished seriously, severely about being kidnapper in this country, it will become less attractive. But in institution whereby people know if they are kidnapped, even when they get to court, they will start studying their trial. We have kidnappers that have been arrested for about how many years in this country. Until now, their cases are still in court. So it gives confidence to other people to kidnap. Security are arresting some kidnappers. Yes, security are trying in some aspect, but it is not enough.
All right.
And there are some times when...
I just want to follow up very quickly on the question that my colleague had asked earlier. He had given a timeline. And if you see that, the timeline by the Punch newspaper, May, 2 female students from Joseph Sarwan University in Makurdi, excuse me, and then the next one, we saw that we had gunmen abducting 3 staff members, including acting rector in Benue State Polytechnic in July. One thing we've seen in these two is that they're students. You're the Senate President for the Nigerian National Association of Nigerian Students. How would you say this is affecting the education sector? What message are we passing, and what really is the mood right now among these people?
We are not in good mood. We are not happy about this, because if students continue to be kidnapped, if they continue to kidnap students, it will not be safe. People will not have confidence to even go to school, and that is the problem. Especially in a situation whereby we want more quality of education, we want education quality in the country. We want students, we want to encourage more people to go to school, especially in that north. Even in Benue State, they are encouraging people to go to school. So when people are getting kidnapped because they are going to school, because they are students, it is not encouraging, and definitely is also a setback to the education sector. So we need the government to take the issue of kidnapping, the issue of security more serious for us, so that people going to school will feel safe when going to school. And that is why this the Safe School initiative by the Nigeria Civil Defense Corps, they should take it more seriously. They should get to the grassroots. It should not just be a news on the newspaper or the television. If there are civil defense that are into the Safe School initiative, you should see them around the schools. They should protect the schools. They should protect the students. That is just what we are saying.
All right. I'd like to bring in Mr. Omeji. In 2022, Nigerian government passed a law, against the payment of ransom. And now we've seen that these kidnappers are asking for ransom to be paid. This is not the first time we've seen people asking for ransom to be paid. But regardless of this law being in place, Nigerians are still paying ransom. Unfortunately, because you cannot blatantly ask a number of them to look the other way when their loved ones are being kidnapped. How are we faring regarding that law? Is that a law that still stands? Is there a strength to that law? And how are we faring regarding payment of ransom? We're seeing crowdfunding happening on social media. Is there a way to get out of this at all?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, that particular law is mostly sensitive. Even if you think that you are being, trying to be a bold government. If you say you are going to discourage paying of ransom, if you say you are not going to be interested in ransom payment, and the people are not getting the required security they deserve from the government, and when their loved ones are kidnapped and given deadline by the kidnappers, and in actual sense you see them killing them if they don't pay the ransom, what do you expect the people to do? So it's not just about saying you are not going to pay ransom. You have to make sure that you back up your statement with efforts that would, with the measures rather that will stem the tide of kidnapping. So one thing is to say you are not going to pay ransom. The other and the most important is to put measures in place to stop kidnapping. So let me tell you something. Most times we fail to do, most times government fails to take into account what we call root cause analysis in dealing with security issues. Now, what do I mean here? There are fundamental issues that actually bring about, that have actually institutionalized kidnapping in Nigeria. Of course, because kidnapping is now a full-blown industry. So it has been institutionalized. So, but the point is, what gave rise to this? Then I tell you something. One key factor: bad governance. Bad governance is just the thing that brought us to this level. Because it is the fact that people find crime attractive, owing to the fact that they are actually idle, that brought this thing to this industrial scale. Now, a lot of people who cannot control themselves, who are unable to be held down by morals and everything, have taken to crime because they don't have option. So government must think beyond, this mere grandstanding and then trying to impress the world that look, ransom should be paid. If you say ransom should not be paid, what have you done to make sure that it doesn't happen in the first place? Now look at these medical students. What are you going to tell the families? Are you telling them, you say no ransom be paid, and I've not seen any visible measure by the government to bring them out? Do you think that the family members will sit back and allow? Okay, do you remember Nabila family the other time, and around January or so? That was how the government said, oh, we're not paying ransom. Before they killed Nabila. It happened here and there, and you say no ransom. You think families will sit back? Families will not sit back. Families will find a way to bring their loved ones in captivity. So the government will not be fair to Nigerians. It's incredible. Look, like I said before, this is an emergency, and if we should drop every other thing we're doing and tackle this measure. Because if you are not secure, we are not doing anything. Security is the first thing. If you get security right, you cannot talk.
Right.
Because as it is now, people can't even travel. People can't travel to the farms. They can't conduct businesses. They can't. What else are we talking about?
And just to quickly add, our security agencies owe us minute by minute or hour by hour updates as they're investigating this situation.
Well, if they think that not giving us minute by minute update is more effective, good and fine. But at the end of the day, let us see results. Because look, don't forget that the kidnappers have given a timeline. They said beginning from so date, they will start killing them, and we can't take them for granted because they've done it before. So whatever you are doing, time is a factor. Time is material. And this is why I think that we need to leverage technology. We need to deploy more boots on the ground. We need to devote resources to this. We need to come up with creative, ingenious means to stem the tide. It's embarrassing. Internationally, we are lacking stock within the country. We don't. I don't know how we describe ourselves that we cannot live safely. That kidnappers have overwhelmed the entire country, and we have a whole robust security architecture. Every time you see siren, learning here and there. Meanwhile, people can't feel safe at home, on the streets, on the express, in the schools. Come on, it calls for concern. As a matter of fact.
Indeed, it does call for concern. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us. We're joined this morning to have the conversation by the Senate President, Nigerian National Association of Nigerian Students, Mr. Hyacinth Alia, and Chidi Emeje, security expert. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, gentlemen.
We do hope that the next time we're talking about this, we'll have some positive updates regarding the students and their release. Some are saying that tweets were being made from the location of the kidnap, and they're wondering why phones were not being tracked and why we haven't gotten an update regarding this. But as we get more information, we'll share with you here on Breakfast Central.